Hello, y'all. Today we are going right into 15 fun facts of Christmas with the Kranks. Have you guys watched it this Christmas yet? It's one of my one of my Christmas go-tos for sure. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I like Christmas with the Cranks. So, Christmas with the Cranks, if you've never seen it before, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. Anyways, it's about a family whose daughter's going away over Christmas and they decide to just skip Christmas. As it turns out, they spend over $3,000 a year on celebrating Christmas. I don't think that is possible. Unless, well, it is possible for some families. My family, I don't think we spend that much. Anyways, so they decide to go on a cruise, which was more affordable. This is Luther, who is played by Tim Allen. This is his idea. So, um, so they are planning to go. They are surprised when their daughter calls last minute to say she and her new fiance is coming home and is expecting the usual Christmas traditions. The neighborhood comes together to help the Crank family pull out all the stops for their daughter, even though their Christmas skipping and antics had rubbed them the wrong way initially. I was not. I'll be honest with some of the things like that they did in Christmas with the Cranks. For example, when he said Tim Allen refused to buy a tree from the Boy Scouts or the calendar from the police officers, couldn't you have just said, "Okay, I'll give you money. I just don't need it this year." Simple as that. But I think that was not the direction they wanted to go in for the way the movie ran, which is fair because it makes sense. I wouldn't want that happening either. Like I wouldn't want. What was I saying? I wouldn't want like what was I saying? I would want more of a story, and I think if they just did it that way, there would have been less of a story, and made because they wanted like Tim Allen's character to look kind of like a jerk, which was kind of funny because he plays Father Christmas in Santa Claus, and he's a very Christmas spirit. But in the first Christmas, he's like the Santa Claus is, he's kind of a jerk, I guess too. So I guess it makes sense. I don't know. He plays two jerks in two different Christmas movies, but is a big Christmas advocate in the rest of them. Anyways, so fact number one, Christmas with the Cranks joins the rank of Christmas movies that were based on books. Did you know that the large number of Christmas classics you're familiar with were original based on novels, or in the case of Christmas Vacation, an article in a magazine? A Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life, Die Hard, not to mention others which I have already revealed throughout this string of blogs, were all based on books. Before I get too off topic, Christmas with the Cranks is actually based off of a John Grisham novel, Skipping Christmas. I was surprised when I discovered this, since I mostly think of his legal thrillers like The Pelican Brief. I didn't even know John Grisham was a big novel writer. I didn't even know who he was. Number two, the movie was not well received when it came out in 2004, barely making its budget of $60 million domestically United States. It is only rated 5.2 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. Internet Movie Database. I did not know what that stood for. Now I do. Of the IMDb, and has an even worse rating on Rotten Tomatoes. This isn't really that surprising considering that the book also received some negative reviews and is generally considered subpar compared to John Grisham's overwriting. So what do you think of this book and movie? If you've ever read the book, comment below. If you like the movie, comment below. If you watch it all the time. Excuse me. Number three, I started watching this film expecting the worst, but I don't feel like it was that bad. I don't feel like I would rate it much higher on IMDb, but it definitely made me less angry than Four Christmases. It did, however, make me angry still. This movie presents itself a story of a comedy where a family makes an impulsive decision and the community pulls together to save the magic for their daughter. The movie isn't really about this, though. It's about a rich, mostly white neighborhood that appears to be obsessed with Christmas to a point where they feel the need to bully those who do not wish to participate in the festivities. That is very true. I do agree with that one there. Uh, do, 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 do. Okay. Number 4 is the swimsuits the models are wearing in the advertisement for the cruise the Cranks are taking are the same ones Luther and Nora wear when they go tanning in the mall. That one was such a funny scene. I loved that part. When the priest comes and sees them dressed in bikinis. It is a very judgmental movie, I will be honest, and that part I don't like because it is not anyone's business if someone decides to skip Christmas. Number 5, the swimsuit, when Luther is stuck hanging from the roof, you can see one of the firemen get hit in the face with the ladder. I've seen this before. I always watch out for it. It's one of my favorites. It's hilarious when he does get hit because not many of us notice this. Why? Oh, okay. But yeah, if when you see the guys come up with the ladder, just kind of look out for one of the guys that gets hit. If you heard my dog, I do apologize. Number 6. When the Cranks are watching Vic Frohmeyer through the window, Luther says to Nora, so you're saying Frohmeyer has a problem with our skipping Christmas. Who's he gonna call? Dan Aykroyd, who plays Frohmeyer, also starred in Ghostbusters, for which Who You Gonna Call was a line from the movie's theme song. An additional GB reference comes when Luther asks Vic if he knows anybody at the Con Ed in Ghostbusters 2 in 1989. The Ghostbusters pretend to be from Con Ed to dig a big hole in the middle of the street. Number 7. Lots of deleted scenes and alternate footage appears in the movie's trailer. Included the preview section on the DVD. Some examples are a big book being opened to a photo of the Crank family, which I would have loved to seen. So before I move on, I would have loved to seen like previous parties that they've had at the beginning before she takes off to the Peace Corps or whatever it's called. Anyways, Nora Crank taking a photo of her husband and daughter outside their house. Luther Crank with a device in his mouth, obviously sitting in a dentist's chair to get his teeth whitened and or fixed. Luther Crank driving home with Skimpy Tree on the roof of his car getting heckled by another motorist. A different cruise advertisement in the travel agency's window. Luther Crank showing his Botox injected face in the hospital. We only see it for the first time in the scene afterwards where he's eating with his wife. The shot of Blair Crank saying goodbye to her parents at the airport doesn't have a scene credit over it as it does in the actual film. So there's a lot of the trailer that's totally misleading then, eh? You should change that if it's not too late. Probably is. This is like a 10-year-old movie. Sorry for moving my camera a lot, but you probably won't see that as pictures will come up over it. Number 8, Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd had previously starred in Trading Places in 1983, My Girl in 1991, and My Girl 2 in 1994 together. They play neighbors in Christmas with the Cranks rather than love interests as they have in their previous movies. Number 9, Julie Gonzalo plays Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter in Freaky Friday. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. Okay. In Freaky Friday, back in 2003, Gonzalo plays the nemesis of Curtis's daughter. Number 10, when Luther adds up how much Christmas cost the previous year, the total adds up to just over $6,100. Tim Allen also starred in Home Improvement, and nearly all the tools he advertised in his show Tool Time included the number 6,100. Holy wow, that's a lot. Number 11. Oh, you know what? I forgot. It's trivia time. Okay. Answer some fun questions here. What does Luther Crank want to do? Spend more money this year? Skip Christmas and take a cruise? Have Christmas with his parents? Sleep all day on Christmas? What do you think? I feel like this one's a given. Um, and then one more. Blair ends up surprising her parents and comes home for Christmas. True or false? These are too easy. Next, so number 11? Okay, we'll go with number 11. I could be wrong. According to director Joe, both he and producer screenwriter Chris Columbus had purchased the rights to John Grisham's novel Skipping Christmas around the same time. Columbus already had written the script and called Roth, to which Roth thought Columbus was going to tell him he was directing the film. It turns out it was actually an offer from Columbus to Roth to direct while Columbus would produce, in addition to having written screenplay. Number 13, Owen Wilson was considered for the role of Luther Crank. Makes more sense that it was Tim Allen because he has more of an edge, if that makes sense. Let's do... Just give me 1 second here. Okay, and then finish off. So, obviously, we know Luther Crank unfairly comes off as selfish. Luther might seem like a bona fide Grinch who's trying to ruin the holidays for everyone, but his plan is simple and justified. Luther wants to save money by not spending money on all the unnecessary marketing schemes that accompany Christmas, such as lights, decorations, and a tree. Instead, he wants to embark on a cruise on Christmas Day. This excursion will allow Luther and Nora to finally get away and enjoy some needed time in each other's company. Best of all, planning for a cruise and all the anticipation that comes with going on a Caribbean trip will help to get to Nora's mind off the fact that Blair won't be home for Christmas for the first time in 23 years. Sure, it's easy for a younger mind to see the flaws in Luther's plan, as holiday movies make villains out of people who don't spread Christmas cheer by singing loud for all to hear, but Luther is trying to get Nora's mind off of their daughter not being home and dwelling on her absence. A situation Nora and Luther can't control isn't healthy. Which is true. Like, he was thinking of Nora, and, it's not really that selfish to want to go on a trip instead of spending a bogus amount of money on stuff you only use once a year. Instead, why not have it on a great life experience? Okay. Number 14, the Cranks could have just kept quiet. Luther and Nora are adults and they're allowed to do whatever they want. Looking back, however, it's hard not to notice. Although they had a good plan, their execution is questionable. Luther didn't need to attend the office Christmas party, but he mistakenly tries to get ahead of the situation by writing his colleagues that states he's skipping anything and everything that's associated with Christmas time. Oh my god, Christmas time. This act only puts a target on his back while getting out of their annually held Christmas party proves trickier, since many people attend to look forward to the Cranks Christmas Eve celebration every year. The fact of the matter is the Cranks have a plane to catch the next day. The last thing they want is to have to clean up after a large house party on the morning of their vacation, and heaven forbid if they're hungover or miss their flight. Luther also didn't have to tell people anything because it's none of their business, but that's not a very cheerful thing to do, and it wouldn't be a story if you didn't, right? The most wonderful time of the year, but logical thinking goes against the framework of skipping Christmas in peace. Yes, the Cranks would have been better off if they kept their plans a secret and subtly played along when they had to, but then their story wouldn't have been as special and the ending wouldn't have been as climatic. The Cranks' neighbors are undeniably overzealous. Last one. At times, the behaviors of the Cranks neighbors makes this film seem more like a horror movie than a family-friendly picture. In one instance, Vic Frohmeyer, inexplicably the most important and powerful person in the neighborhood, tries to stop Nora from driving away from her house by putting his hands in her window and trying to get her to stop. His intentions are simple. He wants Nora to put Frosty up, a holiday decoration that the entire block partakes in each year, but instead of civilized conversation, Vic tries to physically stop a moving vehicle. It's no wonder the Cranks are trying to skip Christmas. The community is so involved that the neighborhood even bakes cookies and swaps gifts. The nerve throughout the movie, Luther and Nora are harassed by their neighbors because they can't accept the fact that the Cranks don't want to celebrate Christmas for 1 year. Of course they are. Okay, guys, there wasn't much facts. There was just little things here and there. I couldn't find many facts, but there's some trivia and there's some options, and yes, they could have kept quiet. There's lots that could have happened in that movie, but I feel like those things that could have happened, there would not have been a story either way. You guys have a great holidays. I'll be again you'll see one more from me Friday, and then one more, and then probably Christmas Day. I will try for Christmas Day. You guys have an awesome rest of your week. Happy holidays, and we'll chat soon. Comment below what you think the answer is to the trivia questions. They're pretty easy, very, very easy, unless you haven't seen the movie. And B, comment below what your favorite holiday movie is. Okay, bye now.